Dear traveller, and welcome. So today we are looking at the secret camera. Finally, it's going to get revealed. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I mentioned on Instagram, I posted this picture and it got quite a lot of interest. People were wondering, what camera was that? So we ended up calling it the secret camera, and it's been racking people's brains of what camera is it. And it's something I don't think any of you will ever guess it, because it's such a mundane camera that no one would ever think twice about. But I'm telling you, it's going to be a keeper, that's for sure. There's no way I'm getting rid of this one. So let's have a look at some people's guesses that they had. Let's see, what do we got? Let me have a look at the old skibbity-bop. Alright, 1 month, 2 cameras. She thought maybe it was a Sigma DP1 Classic. Good guess, because she did just do a review of some of the older Sigma gear. So, good guess, but it's definitely not the Sigma. We've got Mr. Anderson 24. He thought maybe it was also the Ricoh RDC7, which actually is a pretty cool looking camera. That's a pretty cool looking bit of kit there. Not that camera either, but I really do love the people's suggestions, because it just gives us more cameras to check out and research, right? Mr. Anderson thought maybe it was the Polaroid. Let's have a look at this thing. What is it? It's called the Polaroid X530 because it has a foveation sensor. So he thought maybe there was a connection there with the foveation. Nope, definitely not the Polaroid. Again, another cool camera that I want to check out now, so that's awesome. Chip, aka Rowan Woke, he's thinking it's the Camedia C5060, which is a camera that I love and I've done reviews on. No, there'll probably be a review coming out of that one again, because I just did some pretty cutting edge stuff with it, so I'll probably release that soon. But no, it was not the Camedia C5060. Good guess, because the old Olympus are absolute beasts. Then we've got a guess here. Someone thought that it could be the Kyocera or the Pentax. I don't know if you realize this, but most of the modern Pentax, the later Pentax, were actually made by Kyocera. So maybe that kind of Kyocera Pentax TVS digital, maybe something like that. No, it's not. However, I feel that he got the closest on this one, because it, I believe, a bit in competition with those cameras. So that's a bit interesting. I do think this is in competition with it. So good guesses, everyone. I really do appreciate it, and it wasn't them. So what is the secret camera? I can tell you, it does make this noise when you start it up. It feels fantastic in the hand. Metal body. When I first got it, I thought it was plastic. And then the next morning I picked it up and it was icy cold. I think it's an aluminium body. It's fantastic. Absolutely great. And I think it does look a little bit like the TVS in some lights. So what is this special camera? Well, it is none other than the Pentax Optio 555. Yeah, you've heard of the Optio, right? Some kind of point and shoot camera that no one really cared about. Some Pentax thing that never worked out. Well, I'm here to tell you that this camera is a beast. And what I've told people on Instagram, or what you've seen so far, is only but the fringes. It is only the tip of the iceberg of what amazing features this camera has. How about we go through some specs right now of this camera? Where's my little spec sheet? Here we go. So we're looking at a 2003 point and shoot equipped with a smoking hot 5 megapixel CCD sensor. 5 megapixels is actually pretty sharp, and you're going to see some images that prove that. Now the aperture, it goes from an f2.8 to a 7.9, so that's very reasonable. Check this out. It can shoot 0.002 of a second faster shutter speed. It's got a whopping 15 seconds for the slowest shutter speed. That's amazing. 15 seconds. So we'll get some nice night shots with this thing. It's got a macro mode, shoots JPEGs and TIFFs, so you're getting some good files. It's got spot metering, center weighted metering, and multi-segment metering. All those fancy metering systems in such a small camera. And the lens on it is a 37mm to 185mm equivalent zoom. So you're hitting all your major zooms there. It could be a little bit wider, but hey, 37mm, that's not too bad. Oh, and something that's really important to some of you viewers, and I'm looking at you 1 month, 2 cameras, is that it has a real image viewfinder. So this bad boy has a viewfinder. That's where it differs from the Pentax Q, which is an amazing system, CMOS sensor, albeit that it doesn't have a viewfinder. You need a viewfinder. I agree. You do need a viewfinder. And it has something special printed on the lens of this camera. This is what made me think that this camera was going to be a good camera. Okay, and this is important to learn. If you're going to go out and just buy random cameras, you need to know what to look for. The thing that caught my eye with this camera is that on the lens, it had the letters printed SMC, printed on the lens. Okay, now that is like a typical Pentax lens. That's something a little bit special. They don't put SMC lenses on cheap throwabout cameras. This is a really good lens and it's got really good coatings. So if you're going to look for cheap cameras, check out the lenses. You need to see if it's got these little features that are really going to help. Oh, did I mention it's all manual? You can shoot this thing full manual as well. It's got a flash. Okay, metal body, amazing metering system in such a small camera and such a unthought out camera. Like no one would have noticed this camera if it didn't exist. You know, it's just an Optio. Nah, it's actually something pretty special, to be honest. I really think this is something special. Now, what's awesome as well is it has 11 settings. Okay, like it's got one of those little dials at the top where you can pick. You can go from a user preset mode. You got manual, TV mode, AV mode, P for your autos, then picture mode. Not sure what that is. It's got a panoramic mode. If you want to do some, like, it stitches together the panorama, just walks you through the whole thing. Yeah, so it's actually got a 3D mode as well. So this 3D mode works in conjunction, oh, I like that word, works in conjunction with the special pair of glasses that it comes with. They look a bit funny, but it comes with these glasses, and you know, at first I thought, nah, dumb gimmick. But you know what? It's actually pretty cool. Like, I was actually literally, really, honestly blown away by it. It's just something cool to have, you know, and I just think that's really cool. Now look, features are only one thing. I've got so much to talk about this camera, so I'm just going to launch into it, right? Here we go, launching into why this camera is even worth talking about. The image quality is pretty decent. I'm really happy with the image quality. Black and whites, it is killer. Colors, it does a pretty damn good job too. But there's so much more to this camera that we need to talk about. Okay, so before you run off to eBay and start looking for one, just because it does a few things okay, there's actually heaps more we need to talk about. So let's dive into it now. Okay, for starters, the look of it. I absolutely love the look of this camera. I think they've done a fantastic job. If I'm more honest, what I could say is I love the front of it. The front looks great. The top looks good until you get to that big rotating dial. It was kind of, just looks a bit goofy. And then the back where it all falls apart and it just looks like a printer. But in essence, altogether as a unit, that front face, man, oof, that looks good. And it's just a nice looking camera. So I can't argue with the look of it. But it's more than just a looker. This thing is unreal. So it's got macro mode. I'm pretty happy that it's got it. It's definitely come in handy. And I'll show you some shots soon of some cool macro work as well. So I'm stoked that it's got macro. What else has it got? It's got manual focus. Whoa, hold up. What's that? This thing has got manual focus. So you can do the whole distance scale set to 1 meter, street shoot, wham, 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 just smash that shutter. You know, but to be honest, it takes a little bit of time to cycle through each photo. So, you know, don't expect it to be any kind of speed demon, but it's got manual focus on a little camera like this that no one would have thought twice about. Manual focus. And we've already spoken about how amazing all the metering systems are on this thing. It's got some awesome metering systems plus manual focus. That's pretty cool. There's something I need to say about this camera. I've been holding my breath this whole time, but I just need to say it. I just need to get it out, and I believe it's a really important thing to talk about. One of my first reviews I ever did as a camera, and you can see it right down the bottom of my list of videos. The first review I ever posted was of a Pentax Q. I love the Q system. If there's anyone here watching this who knows how cool the Q system is, you're in good company. Because I love the Q system and I love how it feels. I love the little lenses, the metal body, magnesium body. I didn't like the Q7, Q10. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but I like the original with the magnesium body. Oh, that thing felt so good in the hand. Now, when I bought this camera, I didn't think it was going to compete with that camera. I didn't think it would. But you know what? It does. This thing has so many of the features of the Pentax Q that I am blown away. What are we talking about? We're talking about the filters. This camera has the setting for filters. Yeah, so you've got all the different color profile filters if you want to put more of a magenta tint to it, a blue tint, a green, a yellow, plus the black and white, which you'll see. The black and white looks fantastic. but you've also got all these other filters, which is great. But you know what I loved about those filters? Do you know, like, not only do you have the choice of having filters, which is awesome, but you know what I really, really loved about those filters? Is that you can add those filters in the camera after you've taken the shot. Seriously, that is unbelievable. So what I'm saying is you can take a picture just in normal auto mode, let's say, just for fun. You take a snap in auto mode, and then you can go through the menu system, review that photo, and add filters to it. You can make it black and white. Oh, it didn't quite work, the colors are a bit off. I'll make it black and white. Oh, this would actually look good if it was a bit warmed up. Add a yellow filter to it. It's amazing. I love the Pentax filters. Are they a bit cheesy? Yeah, they're a little bit cheesy, but you know what? That's what I'm paying for. That's what I want. It's an early 2000s camera. Why wouldn't it be cheesy? That's, you know, like, come on. That's what we're paying for. If I didn't want it to be, you know, it's not a Fujifilm film recipe. No. It's an early 2000s inbuilt filter. And I absolutely love them. I think they are amazing because it just gives you these vibes. I'm going to use the word. Again, comparing it to the Pentax Q, you've got a lens here with amazing reach. We've spoken about the reach that this thing's got. It's phenomenal. You go from super wide to a massive zoom in the one lens. Now the Pentax Q, I love changing the lens. Interchangeable lenses, who doesn't like it? But I think this one has all the focal lengths you really need already built into the lens. And it's an SMC lens. Do I need to say more? Now let's get a bit Matthias Berling on this thing. 5 reasons why I think this Optio 555 is better than a Pentax Q. Why is this better than a Pentax Q? Well, there's a few reasons actually why this is better, so buckle up, okay? Reason number 1, retractable lens. Point number 2, and it's closely related, it has a lens cover built into it, so no more lens caps. Why else is this better than a Pentax Q? It's staring you right in the face. It's actually quite embarrassing that you haven't figured it out. It's got a viewfinder. Is it a great viewfinder? How dare you ask that question? How dare you? You know it's an early 2000s camera. It's not going to be great. But you know what? It's a viewfinder. Even the worst viewfinder is a good viewfinder because when you've got a tiny little 1-inch screen on the back of this thing, you need a viewfinder, okay? This costs so little compared to a Pentax Q. I love the Pentax Q system. I miss the Pentax Q system. I want that back again. But boy, they're expensive. Why else is this camera better than the Pentax Q? CCD sensor, baby. CCD sensor. Yeah, so you're getting the same feel of the Q, but with a bit more of this bumped up colors that you get from a CCD. That's my opinion. I definitely think the colors are better of a CCD sensor. Maybe I'm wrong. But hey, you check them out later. When I post some images, I'll tell you what else. It makes cool noises when you start it. Okay, plays a little flute. It plays a little flute. I smile. I know it's gonna play it. Like I know. I own the. I know. I own the camera. I know it's gonna make the flute noise every time I turn it on. But I'm telling you, every time I turn it on, I'm smiling. I'm smiling like a lunatic. It plays me a little flute. Okay, maybe I'm a bit crazy, but you know what? I'll take it. It plays me the flute every time I switch it on. So that's absolutely awesome. Is that going to be a point? Yeah, that's going to be one of my points. Is that 5 or is that 6? I don't know, I've lost count. But there's a whole bunch of points of why this is better than a Pentax Q. Alright guys, so that's been a lot of talking. Let's get into some photos. Let's see what you think with some of these photos.
Let some light into your soul, 'cause all your words fall so heavily. Too much rain showing in your eye. Girl, you know that's just no way to be. How can I make you see? let some light into your heart. Given time, it will return. First with only a gentle spark, and then the old way it used to burn. That's what I've learned.
Alright guys, that's going to do it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed. I hope you understand where I'm coming from with this thing. It's just been heaps of fun to play with it. I definitely recommend it, especially if you can get this thing cheap, man. Do it. Catch you on the next one.
And if days of searching remain, what you